You know what's hard about telling people your real numbers? You have to admit that in the first year of selling handmade online, you made $55. But in today's video, I want to show you how those small steps and little things that I did each year from 2023 to now 2026 have really allowed me to scale my business to currently making over $23,000 for the year 2026. And I'm not done yet, so we'll see what we end up with at the end of Q4. Back in 2023, I decided to open up an online shop. And this was because I had been selling at craft fairs, I've been selling in person, but the time that it took me every weekend compared to the amount of money I was making, and I was making like anywhere between $300 to $700 depending on the show. It was good money if you consider how much I paid, and some of those shows were free. But I am married with 2 young kids. I have a full-time job, and knowing that weekend after weekend I was not being able to spend the time with my family that I wanted was getting to be a little challenging. But I didn't want to give up the potential to have this business grow. So I decided to open up an online store. And at the end of 2023, I had made $55. That's right, $55. And that is because I wasn't exactly sure how to drive people to my website unless they were in person. I needed to come up with a different strategy to allow people to kind of find me and learn about my business. And then from there, I could determine whether or not it was going to be something that would be feasible and lucrative for myself and for my family. So in 2024, I decided to start a YouTube channel. I actually started the YouTube channel back in like August of 2023, but I was so nervous about videoing, editing, being on camera. That is definitely a hurdle I had to get through. There were so many roadblocks in my head about starting a YouTube channel, but I made the decision at the end of 2023 that if I didn't do this, I was going to just need to move on and understand that I would have to just shut down the website that I had built. So I gave myself 1 year. I said, let me give myself all of 2024. I'm going to post consistently. I'm going to try to build this channel to see if it would drive traffic to my website. My goal, my intention was never about becoming monetized. I mean, yes, that's a wonderful thing, becoming monetized on YouTube, but it was never what I wanted to be my sole income for having a business and everything. My goal was to drive people to my website from the very beginning of my channel. And I think that that was something that resonated probably a lot with my audience, and also really helped me not be so dead set on getting the subscribers, getting the traffic. I didn't want to worry about that. And if you will notice, there's probably less than 10 videos that I have on my channel where I ask people to subscribe. I never really wanted that to be what my channel was about. I definitely needed to get monetized, because allowing myself to get monetized would then allow me further traffic. And as you grow in each of the kind of brackets of monetization, it opens doors to more options for you on YouTube. For example, getting to 500 allowed me to start membership groups, to start being able to earn super chats, which is not something that is huge that I've received on here, but it's something that you would have access to. And then getting to the 1,000 allowed you to get the monetization from ad revenue. I wanted all those things. That was great, but it wasn't necessarily what I was initially that focused on. I didn't really understand it all, but I knew that there was certain kind of milestones I wanted to reach, and I set those small goals for myself all throughout my YouTube journey as I got started. Just so we're clear, this is not all about YouTube. I'm trying to use YouTube for my business. So at the end of 2024, I learned that doing this, having this available to me, allowed me to earn $1,092. I'm almost positive that's how much I earned in 2024 on website sales alone. I am not including any other revenue that I made in any other way. So I'm not counting any of the YouTube money that I earned. I'm not counting any of the paid partnerships that I had from being on YouTube. I am considering solely the website revenue that I made on my own website. And I was really happy about that because that number allowed me to justify keeping that website for another year. It cost me about $600 to keep my website going in the way that I have it set up now. So I knew that I needed at a minimum $600 to justify maintaining that website. By the end of 2024, I knew that I was good to go for another year. Heading into 2025, I knew that I was going to continue to work on my YouTube channel because that had been a very popular way for me to increase flow to my website. I knew that I would need to do something more to keep it going because $1,000 a year is better than $55, but I wanted the next step. And for me, the next step was to introduce a new product on my website. So it wasn't just about selling my handmade goods. It was also about selling items and supplies that maybe other handmade sellers would want to purchase so that they could make their own product. And that was when I introduced Connie Lines and Designs to my website. And to me, that was a huge way to open doors to a new audience, new viewers, new website traffic. There were so many wonderful things that being a retailer for Connie Lines and Designs, who is the painted photographer here on YouTube as well as on Facebook, that really helped open a lot of doors for me in what I could potentially do with my website. I ended up selling that, and by the end of 2025, I believe it was 4,000 and something. Let's check. Revenue, and in 2025, my revenue by the end of 2025 was $4,279.30. I had already made 3 times or 4 times what I had made the previous year by introducing that new product line to my website. I was very, very happy about that. That was something that I knew I would continue to maintain. And heading into 2026, once again, I reset and I thought to myself, okay, I definitely have enough money to keep my website going. I have now made a little over that, so I'm maintaining a good profit margin here. I really wanted to figure out, okay, what is the next step? And once again, in the midst of all of this, I was still selling in person. I am still earning revenue from YouTube. I have some paid partnerships or some sponsorships that I gotten here and there throughout the last couple years. Those are all still there. And if you ever want to know about all of those streams of income, I'm happy to share that with you. But the purpose of this video is about what you can do to drive traffic to your website. Because as I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, my goal was never about monetization or becoming a social media influencer. It was purely to drive traffic to my website. And that continues to be my main goal in anything that I do on my channel or any of my other social media accounts. Then in 2026, said, okay, I'm going to keep with my Connie Lines and Designs. I need to come up with something new. So I had heard from many people and watching different content creators on YouTube that you do need to have not only multiple streams of income, but multiple platforms that you're on because it can drive in a new audience. So I made the decision in 2026 that I was going to find a way to be able to post consistently across platforms. That is not something I was super excited about. I never wanted to get myself into this hole where I was solely focusing on just social media and content creation, because it wasn't exactly the purpose of why I wanted to do all this in the first place. However, I knew that if I didn't, I would never be able to reach some of the people that I have reached today. I joined Rella, which is a platform that I used to be able to post across multiple platforms and post the same content. So kind of repurposing my content across different social media. And I kind of left YouTube out of it because I was already successful on YouTube and I didn't want it to become redundant for those who might be following me on more than one platform. I focused on my Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok because at that point, I wasn't exactly sure which of the platforms was going to be the one that was going to be best suited for me. And I really wanted to kind of diversify in order to figure that out. You will see that it is not what I anticipated would happen. Up until April of 2026, I was sure that The one that was taking off the most was TikTok. And I was like, okay, this is probably going to be where I go. I know it's the new thing. Everybody's into TikTok. It's probably going to be the thing that helps me launch the next step. So I was getting very, very focused on, what is TikTok looking for? What would the audience on there want? And I was starting to move in that direction because I had gotten, I think, almost 1,500 subscribers or followers on TikTok pretty quickly because I had like 0 starting in 2026. And my other platforms on Instagram was like maybe 100. And on Facebook at the beginning of 2026, I think I might have had maybe 500, maybe a little less on my business page within Facebook. And then all of a sudden, I had a reel on Facebook in April, I believe it was, that just took off. And it was completely unexpected. I really wasn't intending Facebook to be the thing that like set everything off, but it did. I ended up getting to 1,000 followers and then 2,000 followers. And then up to this day, I'm over 20,000 followers. I think I'm almost at 25,000 followers. And I realized very, very quickly that Facebook was going to be probably the biggest platform for me in addition to YouTube. The other thing that happened wasn't just the number of followers I got, it was what it did for my website sales. My website traffic now to this day continues to be well over 50% from Facebook. People find me on Facebook, they follow me on Facebook, and then they click links to get over to my website, which again is always my main goal. And I was pulling in April and May and June of this year of 2026, I was bringing in over what I had made in all of 2025. So each month I was bringing in between $4,000 to $6,000 in revenue that I had made, and I had made only 4,200 in all of 2025. So having that social media, having that connection to an audience within Facebook was really helping way beyond what was happening on YouTube, was really, really helping me drive more sales to my website. Does that mean that I canceled all of my YouTube plans? No, I just decided to create different types of content for each. So my focus on Facebook became more about, here's what I'm creating, here's how I use these products, what questions do you have? And then on YouTube, it became more about, here's how you can sell this yourself. And so those two kind of markets, those two specialties, those two different kind of niches, right, became a way for me to connect with audiences in different ways. I still probably have DIYers that follow me here on YouTube who like to watch some of the things that I do, but I was noticing that my DIY videos here were not as connecting with the audience the same way as my videos about growing a handmade business. So that is why I do these kinds of videos now. It is also why I moved the DIY and crafting videos over to Facebook to make sure that I'm kind of reaching the audience that really wants to learn those things over there. And it has been very valuable for me. There are certain things that I would suggest that you look for when you are trying to do this for yourself. One, do not ghost your audience. The one thing that I maintained, no matter what platform I was on, and this is exactly why I was very mindful of how I grew each platform, because I personally feel that the one thing that you can do to destroy any kind of success you're having on any platform is to ghost your audience after you post a video or post a reel or make a post on any platform. You have lots of comments that come in. And if you don't respond to those comments in a reasonable amount of time, if your audience doesn't think you're listening, they will slowly fizzle out and not care about even looking at your stuff anymore, because you don't have that personal connection to them, that parasocial relationship that you can create by being able to be present and listening to them. when I would get a question or a comment about something on Facebook, I would say, oh, I can do that in my next reel. It gave me more content ideas. It also let the followers know that I'm actually listening to my audience and doing something about it. So make sure that's something that you consider if this is something you're going to do for yourself as well. Listen to your audience and respond to your audience. Let them know that you hear them. It doesn't mean you're always going to do what they ask. It doesn't mean that you have to listen to what they say. If they say that your stuff is trash, if they say, I've gotten only positive comments, I've gotten some not so great comments too, and I respect all feedback. Meaning I will say thank you for your feedback and I will let it be. Some comments I'm not a huge fan of, and I take it in, take a moment, respond happily, and move on. It is not worth getting yourself, trust me, not worth getting yourself all beat up about it and getting yourself in this mindset of, oh, my stuff isn't good, I shouldn't do this. Trust me, I've been there. Do not allow yourself to be burdened by some of those things that people may say. Focus on the positives and focus on the questions, because those are going to be what drive ideas that you can have for future content. The other huge thing I would remind you to do is to really track your data, and that's specific to your website. Look to see where traffic is coming in from, what happens to be your best sellers, because that will also allow you to decide, okay, how can I double down on this bestseller? And then from there, double down on it. Give yourself a list of other things you know you want to create or prepare for your audience. So if they really like this product, you can make a similar product that addresses maybe something else they're looking for, but in the similar product, but different type. So if they love like a lot of images or a lot of decoupage paper related to dogs, you can make a different type of dog. I actually recently got a really fun request to provide images for a certain variety of different types of breeds of dogs. And so that's what I'm working on now. I can't wait to show you. It's going to be a big collection. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but I'm super, super excited to be able to share it. And that request came from someone either by email, I think it was a request from my website, but they found me, I'm assuming, through one of my other platforms. All of this to say that it is really important, one, to be consistent, two, to be prepared. Be prepared to show yourself, because if you want to have a website, if you want to have online sales, and you want to do that for something that is yours, not necessarily something on Etsy or another platform that kind of allows that traffic to naturally be driven to you, assuming you're found on those platforms, you will need to put a little bit of legwork in the beginning, but do so knowing that with consistency and with hard work, you can get from $55 to over $23,000 a year in revenue or more. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to let me know in the comments, what things would you want to learn? What are some things that you feel challenged by as far as your next steps as a handmade seller? Specifically, if you're trying to grow your business on the web. I am happy to help. I want to help in any way I can. Coming from somebody who does not do this full time, this is literally a side income for me, but has become a very, very lucrative side income for me in 2026. And I'm hoping that continues into Q4 and into 2027. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.